everyone, and welcome to my video for January the 23rd, 2019, as I'm going to open with Donald Trump just sending everybody out a tweet. Here we go. He's talking about the shutdown and the State of the Union address, basically saying, as the shutdown was going on, Nancy Pelosi asked me to give the State of the Union address. I agreed. Then she changed her mind because of the shutdown, suggesting a later date. He's kind of letting everybody know her flip-flopping. This is her prerogative. I will do the address when the shutdown is over. I am not looking for part two. I'm not looking for an alternative venue for the State of the Union address because there's no venue that can compete with history, tradition, and the importance of the House chamber. That's where it's always been given. People had suggested all day long that he would give it in a rally or in some other area, but he's saying nope. This is history. He's not going to budge. It's going to be here or nowhere. I look forward to giving a great State of the Union address in the near future. So Pelosi is basically telling us that the State of the Union is just so unimportant to the American people. This is the following day, the 24th of January, and basically, she refused to accept any offer made by the White House to negotiate any more on the border wall, and it's up to her to invite the president to the House chamber to make the State of the Union address. So I've decided to go on a little journey right now to evaluate Nancy Pelosi's state of mind, her emotional well-being, and her just an assessment from a doctor, from a doctor's point of view about her health. So meet Dr. Ted Noel, who is a practicing doctor in Florida and has been in practice for over 30 years. I want you to tune in and hear his analysis right now. I did contact him. He did tell me that it's important to note that this is not a diagnosis, but it's only an assessment of the most likely diagnosis, because only a treating physician can give a true diagnosis.
Ted Noel. In the months since we last discussed Nancy Pelosi's health, she has continued to provide us with entertainment due to her many verbal stumbles and gaffes. Let's review a few key facts. Pelosi is 77 years old. She has lots of odd facial expressions. My sources tell me that it's almost certain these are manifestations of tardive dyskinesia. This is a side effect of medications, and a lot of meds can cause it. The most common ailments that these meds are prescribed for are psychiatric, but one...
Oh, wait a minute. I have to back this back up because he just said psychiatric.
The most common ailments that these meds are prescribed for are psychiatric, but one of the videos you'll see shortly is of a young person with stomach problems. Now, we haven't seen much evidence for mental disorders other than liberalism with Princess Pelosi. But that could be due to good long-term psychiatric management. Let's look at some patients with tardive dyskinesia.
Okay, so instead of going and showing patients, you can look at this video yourself later. I'm just trying to expose one person, and we're going to move right over to Nancy, where there's a lot of clips at the very end of his video displaying his truth here. Hold on.
Next, we're going to see some of Pelosi's moments. He's had Botox injections to block the facial twitches that show up so often in tardive dyskinesia.
While it's only a couple of weeks since the inauguration, there's complete evidence, we've seen nothing that we can work, that I can work with President Bush on, and I'm disappointed. Last week, soybean futures hit a 9-year low. Soybean futures hit a 9-year low. Pork producers, corn growers, and wheat growers are reeling too. That's so far this week. A wall is ineffective, expensive, immoral, and where there might be some places where it's useful from a security and a mutually agreed upon protection for each side to have some structure. Let's see what that is.
By now, you see lots of TD signs in Pelosi's movements, and that's not the end of the story. Last time we talked about how Princess Pelosi may have stage 3 Alzheimer's disease, but that we can't make a firm diagnosis because we aren't privy to inside information. Even with that restriction, my experts tell me that her verbal gaffes are part of a syndrome called mixed dementia. This means that it's entirely possible that Nancy Pelosi, the master legislator, likely has a mixed dementia with features of both Alzheimer's and Parkinson's dementias. Her verbal gaffes are probably related to a progressive mixed dementia with elements similar to Alzheimer's, Parkinson, and vascular dementia.
I also want to make mention that this doctor, Ted, was picked up on Snopes along with Dr. Drew back when I'll never forget Dr. Drew when he was kicked off his show on TV because he was concerned about Hillary Clinton's health and made some comments about it. So he lost his show. And then we have right beside his name, we have this doctor that I've just shown you here coming with his assessment with over, let's see, years and years of experience here. And he weighed in on the medical diagnosis about Clinton as well. He's had 36 years of experience. And Snopes is, of course, owned and operated by Soros. And every time they say something is false, we know that 100% it is true. So thank you, Snopes, for verifying that these two doctors, of course, we knew Dr. Drew and also this doctor here, are valid. I also want to mention that 60 Minutes actually picked up Dr. Ted Noel's work as well about Hillary's diagnosis, and he was covered in that show. And when these shows are, it says the 60 Minutes did a hit job on him. This is showing me that he's over the mark. He's exposing things. They picked Mike Cernovich's reposting of the original and analytical piece. I'm not going back to Hillary right now, but I'm just saying, look at this. This is telling me that he is on target and knows exactly what he's talking about. When a show like this has to go and try to disprove him, when we know so much more that we know about Hillary Clinton at this point and all those things, we know that these doctors are over the mark and they're hitting it on target. Anyway, Nancy Pelosi has just preceded Paul Ryan. She is the 52nd Speaker of the United States House of Representatives. She has been in office for 30-something years, a member of the Democratic Party, as we all know, and she's in her 17th term as a congresswoman representing California out here in the 12th Congressional District. And thank you for watching today's video. God bless you, and God bless America.